I am Richard Ingram, of course. I'm the president and CEO of Chef RLI, which is a personal chef service where I have several chefs that's under my employ, and we hire them out to families and also to help to feed athletes during the off-season time here in Miami. We've just expanded to New York and also in Atlanta as well. Well, the way that I got started, my first start was actually in Atlanta. I went to the Art Institute of Atlanta, where I graduated, I think it was back in 1997. And I worked in various restaurants there in the Atlanta area. And then I stopped for a while and I became a culinary arts instructor at Booker T. Washington High School, which is my first teaching job. And then I relocated back to Miami, where I worked at the South Dade Adult Education Center, and I taught the homeless and ESC kids how to cook. And then I went from there to Miami Northwestern. And when I started at Northwestern, I also started my own business, which was the Perfect Palette at first, and then it moved over into the Chef RLI, which is what you see today. My interaction with children is my passion, along with cooking, of course. And to be able to be a part of something like the Michelle Obama's initiative for obesity in schools, well, not just in schools, but period in the United States of America, is something that I hold dear to my heart. So I actually go into schools and I try to work with some of the cafeteria workers on how we can try to get healthier meals into our schools. And I work with a team of chefs here in Miami, so-called celebrity chefs, as what they call us. And we come together and we try to put together a program that will, one, be able to bring, because you have some schools that have gardens, so we want to do things like bring from the garden to the table to show kids how to grow their food, and then also how that can be transitioned right onto their plate. And thus far, it's been pretty good. One thing that happens with social media is people see you, but they don't get to know you and they don't really know your story. A lot of people don't even understand or realize that I went to Florida A&M University. I left Florida A&M University with a 0.0 average after 2 years because I was in the band and that was my passion. I did very well. I was in the Marching 100. I played that tuba, I danced, and I did my thing. But when it came time to school, I didn't have any interest in it at all, which led to me having to exit early. And when I did, I had to have a plan. And my plan was, and people laugh because I'm bald, but I went to hair school. I went to Miami Lakes Technical, and I was my first 4.0 that I ever got in my life. And doing hair, being a cosmetologist, I worked in the business for about 9 years. And I was very, very good at it, and it helped me out a lot. I made a lot of money at it. But unfortunately, I was so young that I didn't know about keeping the money in my pocket and not spending it all. So, I had growing pains from that. And then I went from there right into culinary school, where again, top of my class. Again, because it was my passion, it was something that I was very, very passionate about. And one thing that I tell kids and I tell adults when I go out and speak is that you don't know what spin life is going to have for you, but you have to have that mental fortitude and that mental strength to be able to take the blows and roll with it and make it into something. But I always also tell people as well, you need to do something that you're passionate about in life, because then it's not work, it's play. Every day I get to go to work and I play with food all day, and I get paid for it and get paid very well. So that is a dream that I think everybody should strive for, whether you're playing football or whether you're doing computers or whether you're behind the camera. Whatever you're doing, there needs to be something that you're passionate about, because when you're passionate about it, you don't mind giving other people a chance. When you're working so hard and you're grinding and it's not a passion of yours, you don't have room to think about anybody else or trying to help anybody else or bring anybody else into your fold. So I think it's very important that you be passionate about what you're doing and also be versatile enough to know that whatever you're doing right now is not the final step for you. There's always something else that you can do. And like I said, be as versatile as you possibly can be. Well, we've been very fortunate as a company to be blessed with some top-notch athletes that we service. For one, Dwayne Wade is my personal client that I've been cooking for the past 10 years. and Antrell Roll of the Giants is another. Chris Bosch is another client of ours. And then it can go on and on and on, you know, from Patrick Ewing, who has played, you know, years ago, and who I've had the pleasure to cook for as well as, you know, Santana Moss, who is still playing for the Redskins at this point. So, you know, we deal with those type of individuals. Also with actresses and actors, Dule Hill, we've cooked for him, Gabrielle Union, of course, AJ Johnson, Sanaa Lathan. And again, we can continue to go on and on, but there's, you know, we've been very fortunate to be able to cook and to serve these people. Well, some of the main things that athletes are looking for when they hire our service, of course, if it's the end of the season and they're coming to train, a lot of them are looking to either bulk up or they're looking to slim down. Now, if you're looking to slim down, then we go into looking at a program where you're not eating as much beef, heavy meats, things like that. We keep you on fish. The starches would be something like sweet potatoes or rice. If you're looking to bulk up, then we just add more calories to your diet. Plus, we add in things like bison, you know, more chicken tenderloins and turkey tenderloins, things of that nature. And like I said, we just add more calories, give you more food for you to be able to bulk up. But at the end of the day, the main thing is that people want flavor. They want something that tastes great, because when you think about healthy food, most times you're thinking that you're gonna have to chew on a piece of bark and eat some trees, you know? So what we do is we give you that healthiness, but it's also very flavorful. We've you know, just had one of our clients to give us a call not long ago and say, there's no way that this could possibly be healthy because it tastes so good. So these are some of the things that are very pertinent when you're dealing with these athletes. Healthy, but something that tastes very, very good as well. Oh, well, my days are very hectic, especially a game day. So, you know, let's talk about a game day, for instance. I will wake up at about 4 o'clock in the morning and get ready. And as I'm getting ready, I'm thinking about what it is that I'm going to cook for my client. And I go to work, and I'm fortunate enough where I'm able to cook for some of my other athletes at my client's home. So right now, let's say I have 5 other guys that I have to cook for. So I'll get to his home at about 5, and then I start preparing meals for my clients. I bag them up in our special bags, put them off to the side, and then my client's family comes down and I cook for them, send the kids out, and then he comes down, I cook for him, send him off to practice. When he goes off to practice, then I run out and I deliver food to all of my other clients. I go to the store. I may try to get in maybe 20 or 30 minutes at the gym if I can. And then I come back and I start to prepare a pregame meal. And this is maybe about 3 o'clock that this happens. And then my client goes and does whatever he needs to do. Then he wakes up, I send him back out, and then I start preparing dinner for his family and for my other clients. And I take care of paperwork. If I have a meeting or an interview, I do that around that time. Then 6 o'clock is dinner time. His fiance eats, the kids eat, and I clean up and I start getting things ready for his after game meal, which is normally about 12 o'clock midnight. So once he gets home, I prepare that fresh, because I think that you know, when you have a personal chef, he should be there. And once you get off of that court, you need something that you don't have to microwave. You need it fresh, is my philosophy. So I'm there, and then I get out of there maybe about 2 o'clock in the morning, and I normally get home about 2:30, and I'm up again at about 4:30 the next morning.
Wow.
So, you know, it's only like maybe 1 or 2 hours of sleep that I get sometimes. Some of the things that has happened to us recently, as far as a company, we've been involved with the South Beach Food and Wine Show, which is a very big thing here in Miami, and it deals with not only FIU and their hospitality school, but the Food Network as well. And we were involved with the Best of the Munchies, which was the last show that they had on Sunday of that event, where we actually went in and we did some small bites. And then I was also involved in the Goya tent, which is a healthy kid event that they did, where I introduced Robert Irvine and a plethora of other chefs that came through from the Food Network. And things like that benefit my company, where because I am not I don't have a restaurant, I am a personal chef. So things like this give us, some spotlight, let people see who we are and that we do exist here in Miami. And, we hope that it will strum up a little business for us as well. And then I was honored, I think it was the other day, where I've been called I was given the Zest Award for 2014 for the community service that I do in the community with schools. And there's also an organization called Seek that I'm affiliated with, where we feed the homeless each and every month on the first of the month. And we also have a STEM program that we have implemented in some of the schools here, where we're teaching kids science. We're going to be taking them on field trips and things like that. So, it's not only about feeding the stomach, but also feeding the mind and the soul as well. In dealing with the athletes that I deal with, it's very easy now to be able to talk to other athletes, such as high school athletes and things like that. And some of the advice that I give them when I go out to schools is basically that they definitely need to eat vegetables. That's number one on the list, because so many of our athletes don't eat vegetables. They rely solely on their genes and their youth to be able to, one, do what they do, but then if they get injured, to be able to heal themselves. But what they don't understand is, by eating vegetables and eating the right way now, it gives you that foundation and the building blocks. So when you get older, your body is already in that healing mode. It already has in the gas tank what it needs to be able to heal in order for you to be able to perform the way that you need to. Now, as far as parents, when I speak to them as far as what they can do, your kids do what you do. So if you're eating unhealthy at home, you can't preach to them about eating healthy, because it just doesn't work. That's like me saying, okay, I cook healthy, but here it is, I'm 500 pounds. It doesn't correlate with each other. So parents need to educate themselves so then they can go in and educate children as well. And again, eating healthy always has the cloud over it as far as not being tasty. It's not at all. Food can be tasty, it can be healthy. It doesn't necessarily mean that you can't have butter, but you need to go back and look at the amount of butter that you're putting in your food. It doesn't say you can't have salt, but the amount. So a lot of it has to do a lot with portion sizing and the amount of the substances that we're putting in our food as well. And one thing that I always tell athletes is that you have to have breakfast in the morning. So many of our kids get up out of the bed and they don't have anything for breakfast, and then on the way to school, they may stop by a store and get some hot fries or something like that. So one thing that I do is I teach them how to make smoothies. And you can put anything inside of a smoothie: bananas, berries, almond milk, yogurt. All of these things are starters, things that you need, brain food, so that when you get to that first period, you're able to do what you need to do. Because as you already know, it's not all about playing ball. It's about what you can do in that classroom. Because what so many people don't understand is the chances of you becoming a professional football, basketball, golfer, whatever kind of athlete, the chances are pretty slim unless you are an exceptional individual. So therefore, you need to have that education base behind you, and you can't get that if you're asleep in class, lethargic. So that breakfast not only helps you in the classroom, but it can help you on the field as well. A lot of times when I go to some of these schools, there are inner city schools. And as we know, because of the studies that have been taken, it's a little harder for our inner city families and students to reach out and get those healthy meals or healthy vegetables and things that everybody else are exposed to. Now, one thing that I always suggest is taking something that you already have in your home that you're eating or that you're cooking and making it healthier, okay? That can be a first step. Say, for instance, if you're doing fried chicken, for instance, instead of doing fried chicken, you can take that same chicken, take the skin off, and do what we call a dry, wet, dry, which is put it in flour first, then maybe in a little milk, and then maybe use cornflakes. Okay, season up some cornflakes, crunch them up, roll it in that, and then you bake it. There's fried chicken for you. But it's 10 times healthier because the skin is off and it's not being deep fried. So things like that, being able to convert one thing from unhealthy to a healthier version of it, that's something that you can definitely do. We eat vegetables in the inner city. We eat collard greens, we eat turnip greens, and we actually eat the turnips themselves, which are very healthy. But how about instead of using fat back, instead of using the smoked turkey, we just saute a little onions and a little chicken broth, use something that's called smoked paprika, which gives you that bacon or that smoky flavor. And then instead of cooking those greens for an hour, which then takes all the nutrients out of them, cook them for 30 minutes, and get that little bite in there, keep them nice and bright and green. You not only have the flavor, but you've cut down on the fat, and now you have all of the nutrients that are inside of those greens as well. So in doing those little simple things, there's really no excuse whatsoever for us not to eat healthier. It's just your choice. It takes a little bit more ingenuity, a little bit more thinking, but just as you're serious about it out there on the football field, basketball court, tennis court, out there on the golf swing or whatever that you're doing, you need to make sure that you take your eating just that much more serious, because that is the foundation for every single thing that you're doing as well. Well, I've been approached by so many different people about doing a book, but I've never really had the time to do it. And I said, you know what, it's such a thing that's being asked about, why don't I just go ahead? So we have actually started, and the book will have some healthy meals in there, some healthy items, but I'm not one to be known as, I don't want to be known as the healthy chef. Because I know that we have our cheat days, so there will be some cheat meals intertwined into the cookbook as well. It'll go from everything from some breakfast foods, lunch foods, dinner, and of course we'll be doing some desserts as well. And everything from pastas to some type of a fried lobster that we'll probably have in there. All of the things that people have seen me make before, but now you'll actually have access to the recipes to go to the pictures that everybody's been seeing and loving for all of these years. My Instagram and my Twitter are the same. It's Chef RLI, and that's the handle for that. And then on Facebook, it's Chef Richard Ingram. Oh, by far, my family is just so very much important to me and in what I do. My wife Stacy, who is basically the unsung hero of all of it, because while I'm out doing what I do, she's here battling with my 8-year-old RJ, my 7-year-old Evan, and even my 17-year-old, whose name is Kwame. And luckily my daughter Nandi, who is now at Fort Valley State University, she's doing well, but as you see, we have 4. And everything that I do is for them, to be honest with you. When I get a little tired, the picture of my wife pops in my head and my kids, and the foundation that I want to leave for them, and how I don't want them to struggle or not to want for anything. So what that does for me is it just inspires me to do more for others, so that I could do more for my family. But again, my wife is, she just does so much for me. She inspires me. Late at night when I'm tired, she rubs my head and tells me that it's okay, and gets me ready to get right back up at 4 o'clock in the morning so I can make the donuts, Right. But it's just incredible. It's incredible, and it's the hard part about being an entrepreneur is the fact that you don't get to see your family as much. So while you're out, and in my case, I'm taking care of somebody else's family while they're on the road doing things, there's nobody here taking care of mine. So when I have my off days, I try to make sure that I let my children and let my wife know how much I love them and how much I need them and how much I miss them. So again, that's the biggest part of everything that I do is my family.